Melch is right. We're cheaper than droids and easier to replace.
Good luck to you.
You think they care what we say? Nobody's listening. Nobody. How many guards on each level?
Hey guys, this is Gary Leem. My call sign is Tom Gunn. I just sneaked into this airbase, and now I'm gonna take this thing for a ride. Now, instead of being quiet, I'm going to entertain you about my new favorite show, Andor. Now you see, Andor is a recent Disney Star Wars series about a guy named Cassian Andor, who was a rebel before the events of Rogue One and A New Hope. He is one of the important rebels who helped the Rebel Alliance defeat the Empire, and indirectly helped Luke Skywalker destroy the Death Star because of the Death Star plans he helped get. But he dies in Rogue One before seeing the Rebel Alliance flourish. But I am not here to give you a summary of the whole show. I am here to give you the review of the social class lens of Andor. Andor has many themes throughout the whole show. Some are controversial, and some make people feel like Andor is not Star Wars. Andor tackles a lot of politics, economic, social structures, and even ideas, which is why Andor's depiction of classes is accurate to our world. Why is it accurate? Well, we can relate it back to Season 2, Episode 1, the higher power not caring about the lower classes. A specific scene in this episode was the ISB meeting. ISB stands for Imperial Security Bureau, and they're similar to the FBI and the CIA. Their meeting was about Gorman. Gorman was a major trading planet for the Empire, filled with its culture instead of the Empire's. They wanted to strip mine the planet for calcite, which was used to coat the reactor lenses for the Death Star. Some ISP expressed concern that they might destroy the planet along with its inhabitants, so they agreed that they would displace the Gors to another planet, disregarding national origins and Gorman culture. This is an accurate depiction of the Democratic Republic of the Congo mining crisis. The DRC contains rich resources, and big corporations would outsource these materials for cheaper production. Big corporations do not care about the labor in the DRC being close to slavery. They also displaced thousands of villagers from their villages, removing culture and identity. Big corporations also falsely convict villagers so that they justifiably get the land. Amnesty International states that growing demand for so-called clean energy technologies has created a corresponding demand for certain metals, meaning the demand for a specific resource leads to these big mining corporations outsourcing to third world countries.
Unauthorized flight. You are not permitted
Shut
to
up,
leave the
man.
premises
I'm
of the
just
United
trying to
States Air
tell them
Force
about
Center.
Andor. But yeah, these big mining corporations are outsourcing to third world countries for cheap manufacturing and displacing villages. The Empire needs a specific resource for the Death Star. Destroying a planet in the process means nothing to them. Another accurate depiction is the Empire's corrupt justice system. In Season 1, Episode 7, Cassian Andor gets unlawfully detained for loitering, even though he was just sitting around. They take him to court to be charged. The judge changes his sentence from just months to 6 years for loitering. Kinda crazy. Imagine if it's just a random person just jaywalk and they just get the death penalty. Anyways, he tried to plead his case, but the judge just shut him down, and they sent him to the prison planet Narkina 5. He could not even object to their claim, which is similar to the 1960s during McCarthyism. McCarthyism was the extreme version of Americans' Red Scare. Americans would start witch hunts for the suspected communists. The majority were innocent, but they were unlawfully detained and charged with espionage despite pleading their case. There was no evidence to prove that they were communists. It was just fear, which doesn't give the judge the right to charge the innocent with espionage. Levin's center states, Senator McCarthy targeted professors. As a consequence of his accusations, a number of professors lost their jobs even though he provided no evidence of their communist affiliation. Senator McCarthy targeted professors for communist influence and they lost their jobs. There was no evidence to prove that they were communists. Although a senator was not firing shots at Cassian Andor, but a soldier is similar because it ruined his whole life and coexistence with the Empire. The final depiction I am going to tell you is how Andor shows rich and poor. Andor has a variety of perspectives that are not just in Cassian Andor. The rich person I am going to talk about is Mon Mothma, a senior senator from the Empire. The senator represents their planet. She represents her planet, the Mon Mothma Estate, and it is rich because the planet is preserving the environment. On the other side, Cassian Andor is from the planet Ferrix. On the galaxy scale, Ferrix is a manufacturing partner to the Empire, and it is considered to be poor in the galaxy. Ferrix survives on manufacturing, which is why the planet is so polluted. The rich preserves the planet while the poor has to work to their breaking last. Of course, this is similar to the real world. The poor are in the working class, and the rich stay at the top and do nothing. The rich and poor system has always been implemented since early human civilizations. The website titled Income Inequality states that income disparities are now so pronounced that America's richest 1% of households average 139 times as much income as the bottom 20% in 2021. The 1% extremely holds more than the 99%, which is a huge income inequality. And this relates to the differences between rich and poor planetary scale. Rich planets do not need to worry about money, while poor planets have to suffer from pollution and manufacturing to survive the Empire's economic system. As stated, Andor is darker than any other Disney product I've ever seen. Again, Andor covers politics, economics, and social structures and ideas that can all be related back to our world. Andor should be an inspiration and model for other Disney products. Andor gives us multiple warnings about the real world problems, and hopefully it'll inspire the next generations to reform. Seriously, it is actually one of the shows that makes me feel excited to watch Star Wars. I extremely recommend watching the show from start to finish. I also strongly recommend, after watching all of Andor, go watch the sequel Rogue One. Well, that's all I can say. Oh, it seems like there's a friend. Well, I'm just gonna go down. That's not actually a friend, chat. Let's get out of here. Chat, what do you mean I'm running into a SAM airspace? What is a SAM airspace? Man, y'all lying. Oh, okay, I see it now. Chat, we gotta get out of here. We gotta fly out. Subscribe to Gary Leem for more content.